100 billion. China and Malaysia join hands to build Huangjing Port, making Singapore angry. China and Malaysia spent 100 billion US dollars building Huangjing Port, which drove the United States and Singapore crazy. What is the truth behind the story? Let's find out in today's video. In recent years, China has emerged as the world's second largest economy. Every move by China attracts global attention. Today, as the maritime trade continues to develop, China has assisted Pakistan building Gwadar Airport and obtaining operating rights. This has promoted the development of China's maritime trade and is no longer restricted by the blockade of Malacca Strait. However, one port is not enough for China's ambition. To expand its influence, China has started building another new port, the Huangjing Port, jointly developed by China and Malaysia. The project cost 100 billion and is a key initiative in a Belt and Road Initiative between China and Malaysia. After the completion of this port, it will bring significant economic benefits to Malaysia. Upon learning this news, Singapore has almost went crazy, and even United States has begun to confuse right and wrong, suggesting that China's construction of ports has military purposes. This raises speculation about the relationship between China and Malaysia. So, what is the truth behind this relationship? Will Malaysia become China's backyard in future? China has introduced the Belt and Road Initiative to Malaysia after the rapid development of Malaysia's economy with China's economic and technological support. In order to further enhance economic changes between the two countries, both sides have proposed the idea of constructing a strategic deepwater port in the important city of Malacca. Therefore, in 2016, China reached an agreement with the Malaysian government and planned to invest on the southwest coast of Malacca City to build the deepwater terminal Huangjing Port. It is reported the Huangjing Port covers an area of 1,366 acres, including 3 artificial islands and 1 natural island, with a total investment of 100 billion. The investment and development of this construction project are handled by the Malaysian Kaija Development Company, while China Power Construction Group is responsible for construction. It is expected to be completed in 2025. Islands of Huangjing will be built in an international cruise terminal, a central business district, a deepwater port, a cargo terminal, and a Huangjing Industrial Park. It will then become the largest port in Straits of Malacca and most comprehensive port. Some economists said that the completed Huangjing Port will bring some huge economic benefits to the local area, and its completion will also be of great significance to China. First of all, the Huangjing Port in Malaysia, as an important strategic project developed by China and Malaysia in the Strait of Malacca, is, of course, mainly aimed at strengthening China's traffic capacity in the Strait of Malacca. A few years ago, most of China's energy sources, such as oil, came from the Middle East. Generally, when China imports oil from the Middle East, it must pass through the Strait of Malacca. It is reported that 80% of the oil imported by mainland China, and even more than half of the world's oil, has to pass through the Strait of Malacca. Therefore, the completion of Huangjing Port first relieved China's shipping pressure in the Malacca Strait. In addition, the Huangjing Port can also promote China's construction of strategic IC projects along the One Belt and One Road, as the country with rapidly developing infrastructure. China basically lacks everything because China has the capability of producing enormous goods, but it lacks a way to export it outside to the world. As a strategic fortress in Southeast Asia, Malaysia plays an irreplaceable role in the 21st century maritime Silk Road. China helped Malaysia build the largest port in Malacca, and the economic development of this country will achieve outstanding achievements. By then, most of the Chinese ships originally docked at the Singapore port will be docked at the Malacca port for strategic supply or re-export trade. It is worth mentioning that after the completion of the Pan-Asian Railway in the future, Malaysia's eastern coastal city and western coastal ports will be completely connected, which will greatly reduce transportation costs between the coast. And by then, China's goods and products will be able to pass through the Huangjing Port Railway and directly connect to various places in Malaysia. This not only promotes further economic exchanges between China and Malaysia, but also benefits China's export of oil and goods. In fact, although China has a vast territory, and many people may always think that it's vast and rich in resources, China is very lacking in oil resources. In the Strait of Malacca, the United States has a greater say, and they can completely block China's energy transportation artery. In order to prevent being strangled by the throat, China can only continue to pursue energy security and stable economic development. In the past few years, China has made plans in various places to ensure energy security, such as building Hambantota Port in Sri Lanka and Gwadar Port in Pakistan. In order to obtain operating rights, it can also relieve the pressure on Malacca's predicament. The current Huangjing Port, jointly built by China and Malaysia, will further ensure China's energy security after its completion. This also means that the United States is about to lose a trump card to control China. Everyone should know that, although Singapore is small in area, it is a developed country precisely because it is located in the Strait of Malacca. Singapore is world famous for its natural deep harbor. This also means that the only port of Singapore can dock for ocean-going ships, transporting goods from the Middle East and Europe to Asia. If goods are delivered here, Singapore can obtain a large amount of tax revenue and ship docking service fees, allowing the local economy to develop. With the capital flow obtained from its delivery, Singapore once became a global financial center. In addition, the living standards and employment policies are extremely advantageous, attracting a large number of talents to invest, thereby driving the surrounding economy and achieving all-round development. It can be said that the reason why Singapore can surpass surrounding areas and become a developed country is due to the existence of deepwater port. The completion of Huangjing Port, deepwater port, has a huge impact on Singapore because the water depth of Huangjing Port, deepwater port, is as high as 20 to 30 meters. It has also met the water depth standards for docking all cargo ships and is located in the Golden Zone, the Strait of Malacca. After its completion, it will become Malacca's largest port. Singapore has clearly felt the threat. By then, China's imported oil tankers will also choose Huangjing Port as their navigation channel. This will undoubtedly have a serious economic impact on Singapore. It is reported that China has been the largest customer of the Port of Singapore for many years. China's annual cost of delivering goods is worth hundreds of billions of yuan to Singapore. With the completion of Huangjing Port, Singapore can only watch this, as it loses a huge source of profit from China. Not only that, the additional economic losses are also unimaginable. It is difficult to see that the reason why Singapore had previously spoken out to sow discord between China and Malaysia, saying that China had bad intention and wanted to build a military base here, was simply to attract attention and cause the project to unexpectedly abort. Although the United States and Singapore tried their best to obstruct China from building Huangjing Port, opposition is opposition and will not affect the final results at all. By around 2025, the Malacca Imperial Port and its supporting project will be completed. With the completion of the Malacca Imperial Port, Singapore's status as the largest port will no longer exist. However, some experts believe that if we really want a Malacca area to be developed, it will not be something that can be achieved in a short while. According to experts from the China Institute of the University of Malaya, Singapore has fully accumulated trade advantages over a long time with its natural deepwater port, and it is impossible for Huangjing Port to surpass it in a short time. Although Huangjing Port is located in an equally advantageous geographical location and has more complete supporting facilities, it only lacks relevant management, labor resources, and financial supporting facilities, which all require time to settle. We are all saying that Huangjing Port will seriously threaten Singapore's economic development. In fact, there may be other situations, that is, economic complementarity with Singapore. After all, the functional positioning of the two is quite different. Singapore Port is actually more inclined to port calling business, while Huangjing Port obviously benefits more from ancillary economic benefits. In general, with the establishment of Belt and Road related ports such as Guad Port, Djibouti Port, and Huangjing Port, China's economy will also take off. This will attract more countries to participate in China's One Belt, One Road initiative, and China's international influence will be further enhanced. By that time, China will also have more say in the South China Sea. What do you think about China and Malaysia collaborating to build Huangjing Port? Let us know in your comment section. Thank you for watching the entire video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more great content. Goodbye and see you on the next video.